Pujamulam Gurorpadam Mantramulam Gurorvakyam Bhaktimulam Guror Kripa Padashritanancha Samastachauram Shree Radhikaya Hridayasya Chauram Nilambujasyyamal Kanti Chauram Chauragraganyam Purusham Namami Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vaivedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagvangha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukchurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. The Divine Souls will have a few minutes of Nam Sankirtan. After that, I'll speak on the topic of Holi. Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala
Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala
Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala
Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala
Bhajo Murali Manohar Nandlala
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 भजो मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
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 भजो गोपाला
भजो गोपाला
भजो नंद लाला
भजो नंदलाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
अलबेली सरकार की। This weekend we're celebrating Holi, and philosophically speaking and devotionally speaking, there are three main aspects that we talk about when we're celebrating Holi. We discuss the Leela of Prahlad and what we can learn from his devotion to Shri Krishna. We discuss the fact that Holi is also Gaur Purnima. It's the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. And of course, on the day of Holi, we play Holi with Radha and Krishna. Tonight, I'll be describing the Leela involving Bhakta Prahlad. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., I'll speak on Mahaprabhu Jayanti, the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. And Monday night, I'll speak on what it means to play Holi with Radha and Krishna. So tonight I'll speak on the Leela of Bhakt Prahlad. Prahlad is a famous devotee of Shri Krishna. He achieved the divine vision of Shri Krishna when he was only 7 years old. So it proves that any age devotee can attain Shri Krishna. You don't have to be old, you don't have to be fully grown up, you don't have to be an adult. You can be a child as long as you follow the lesson, follow the example set by Bhakt Prahlad. You can attain what he attained. We can attain that same status. Prahlad was no ordinary individual, but we can still learn from him. He actually learned about devotion while he was in his mother's womb. Narad Ji gave instructions to his mother while he was still in the womb, and he heard all of that. So he was born as a devotee of Shri Krishna with all that knowledge already. Although he was a devotee of Shri Krishna, he was born in a family of Asur. Asur means demons. There are other races besides human beings created by Brahma. This Maya has 3 guna, Sattva, Raj, Tam. Accordingly, Brahma creates species which are predominantly sattvic, like the ones that exist in Swarg, the Devtas. He creates species that exist here on earth that are predominantly rajas, like human beings, and he creates species that are predominantly tamas, like the demons and Rakshas. Prahlad was born in a demon family to a very powerful father. Hiranyakashipu was his father, and he happened to be a saint as well, a descended Mahapurush from the abode of Mahavishnu, Vaikuntha abode. He was one of the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha abode, and to take part in Bhagwan's Leelas, he also descended on earth to do seva to Bhagwan, to reveal certain Leelas and to reveal certain devotional truths. Sometimes a bad guy or a villain is required. So sometimes God's personal associates descend on earth and behave as demons. Jay and Vijay, the 2 gatekeepers of Vaikuntha abode, they did this 3 times. They came as Hiranyakashipu, the older brother, and Hiranyaksh, the younger brother. Then again they came as Ravana and Kumbhakarna, again older and younger brother. And then they came again as Shishupal and Dantabhaktra, 2 of the demon kings during Shri Krishna's time. In this first time that they came, Jay had become Hiranyakashipu and Vijay had become Hiranyaksh. Hiranyaksh had been killed by Shri Krishna when he came in the form of the divine boar. They battled, and Hiranyaksh had been killed. So the older brother, Hiranyakashipu, he swore that he was going to take revenge for his younger brother. So he was always looking for a chance to fight against Krishna. And he told everybody in his kingdom, he was so powerful, he ruled the whole earth and Swarg and Patal. All the 3 worlds were under his control. And he told everybody, no one should worship Krishna. He is my enemy. I am God. You see, the sun does what I say. Yamraj does what I say. All these celestial gods were under the control of Hiranyakashipu. He was so powerful, but behaving as a demon. So he forbade anyone to worship Shri Krishna, and he told them, I am God for you. Worship me. He told this to Prahlad as well. Now, Prahlad, although he was always respectful to his father, but he showed us that there's a difference between aparadharma and paradharma. Aparadharma tells you that you always have to listen to your parents. This is righteous behavior. But paradharma is the supreme dharma, which supersedes the regulations of aparadharma. Aparadharma means how to be a good person. Paradharma means how to attain God, how to please Shri Krishna. So although he was always respectful to his father, he didn't follow his father's instruction not to worship Shri Krishna, because you see, if he did that, his paradharma would have been cut. But aparadharma gets cut by paradharma where required. So here he said, I will always respect my father, but I can't follow this instruction to worship him instead of Shri Krishna. So he always worshipped Shri Krishna. And even though he went to a Gurukul which was specially made for demon children, where they learn how to be asur, many of us behave as if we've attended one of these schools. Because over there you're taught that sensual enjoyments are the only things that matter, and do whatever you have to, cheat, lie, steal, but fulfill your own selfish desires. These are the principles by which the asuras live. And this is what those children are taught in that Gurukul. The main guru of the asurs is Shukracharya. So his sons taught the children at the Gurukul. And they taught everything that they were supposed to teach those demons. But it seems that Prahlad wasn't learning his lessons, because one day at school, the Guruputra, they had to go somewhere else. So basically the boys had a chutti that day. If the teacher doesn't show up, you get a vacation, right? So all the boys were so happy. Okay, let's go play, let's go play. But they all respected Prahlad a lot. So when Prahlad said, no, let's sit and do some kirtan, they said, okay. And in that satsang, Prahlad started teaching his friends. He said, Kaumar acharet pragyo dharman bhagavataniha. Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam tells this whole story of Prahlad. So he said, oh, my friends, don't think that just because you're 5 or 6 years old, which they were at that time, that you don't have to do devotion. No, don't wait until you're old to do devotion. Start your devotion now, because nobody has any guarantee for how long they're going to live. And he said, you know, over here we're being taught to fulfill our swarth, our self-interest. Do you know what your prime swarth is? Etavaneva lokesmin punsam swartha para smrita ekanta bhaktir govinde yat sarvatra tadikshanam. Bhagavatam. He says, your param swarth, your supreme self-interest, will only be served by attaching your mind wholeheartedly to Shri Krishna. Because you belong to Him and He is perfect happiness. So only if you surrender to Him, you can get perfect happiness. No one in this world can fulfill your actual self-interest of getting anand. Only Shri Krishna can do that. So the only way to fulfill your actual supreme self-interest of getting divine happiness is ekanta bhakti govinde. You should have single-minded devotion to Shri Krishna, to Govinda. He actually said 2 things. Ekant means ek, one, single-minded devotion to Shri Krishna, and yat sarvatra tadikshanam. Sarvatra means everywhere. Everywhere you go, everywhere you see, you should see Shri Krishna. These are the two things he said. So, oh my friends, don't wait until you're old. Start your devotion now. What kind of devotion? Single-minded dedication to Shri Krishna. In other words, ananya. Becoming ananya takes practice. It's part of the path. None of us is perfectly ananya. Naradji defines ananya in this way. Anya shrayanam tyago nanyata. Narad Bhakti Darshan. Ananya means no other. Leaving the refuge of all others and only taking refuge in Shri Krishna. That is ananyata. None of us are at that point yet. Ananyata means ek bharoso, ek bal, ek aas vishwas. Having only one hope in the whole world. Having only one feeling that you are mine. Not having that feeling anywhere else, only for Shri Krishna. None of us are there. Ek bal, only relying on Shri Krishna or feeling security in Shri Krishna, nowhere else. We feel security because we have a certain amount of money in our bank account. Oh, I'll be okay. I have this much money. You see? We're not thinking, oh, I'll be okay because Krishna is mine. No matter how much money I have. No, we're thinking, I have this much money in my bank, so I'll be okay. This person loves me, so I'll be okay. See, we're not thinking, Krishna is mine, so I'll be okay. No, this person is with me. This person is mine. So we default our ananyata. We're not actually fully ananya, but we're learning to be ananya. This is what sadhana is for. Sadhana means reviewing these points in our mind. Only Krishna is mine. When I leave this body, my bank account isn't going with me. None of these people that I call my own are going with me. I go alone. You can put yourself in that moment when you sit to do sadhana. When that moment of death comes, I'll leave, and only Shri Krishna will go with me at that time. So when you have to leave it all in the end anyway, physically, so why not leave it from your mind already, right now? You have to leave it anyway at some time when that moment comes. So pehle hi chodo. Leave it now from your mind. And only feel Krishna is mine. Nobody else is mine. He is my everything. That is ananyata. When we sit to do sadhana, that's what we're supposed to be practicing. That is one of the things that we can dwell upon. When we sit and we're doing Rup Dhyan, we can just keep thinking, Krishna is mine, He's with me. When I go, He's the one who stays with me at that time. No, I can't rely on anyone or anything in this world because anything can be destroyed in any instant and anyone's mind can change in any instant that I don't love you anymore. You annoy me. Stay away from me. That can happen at any instant. Or that person can die. Only Krishna is reliable. Only Krishna is security. Only Krishna is mine. This is ananyata. So Prahlad taught his friends this form of devotion. And he said, always see Krishna everywhere. Yat sarvatra tadikshanam. This is what Sri Maharaj Ji teaches us also. Always remember you're not alone. Shri Krishna is with you. So already we're learning so much about bhakti from young Prahlad, according to what he taught his friends. So one day he was sitting on his father's lap when he had come back from the Gurukul, and his father was lovingly holding him, and he just was making conversation with his son, and he asked him, "What makes you happy, my son?" And he said, "Shravanam kirtanam Vishno smaranam padasevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyamatma nivedanam." Bhagavatam. He described 9 ways of worshipping Shri Krishna, like Shravana Bhakti, listening, Kirtana Bhakti, chanting his names, Smarana Bhakti, remembering him all the time. His father was so surprised. He said, "What are they teaching you at this Gurukul? I had told you not to worship Krishna, to worship me, and here you've just come back for one day from this Gurukul, and you're telling me how I ask you what makes you happy, and you describe 9 ways of worshiping Krishna? What's going on over there at this school?" So he angrily sent for those Guruputra, and he called them and he said, "What are you teaching my son? Do you know what kind of nonsense he's talking?" They said, "We didn't teach him this. We have no idea where he got such ideas." So he told them, "You better set him straight." They went back to the school, and Prahlad politely kept learning everything that they were teaching over there, but he only in his mind kept thinking of Shri Krishna all the time. Again, another time after that, when he came home, in some conversation, again devotion to Shri Krishna came up. Such things kept happening. Finally, Hiranyakashipu, playing the part of a real demon, became so angry, he said, "If you refuse to obey me, and you insist upon worshipping my sworn enemy, Krishna, then you are also my enemy. You are not my son. And you know what I do to enemies? I have them killed." And then he tried many methods to kill Prahlad. He threw him down off a mountain, put him with some mad elephants that they should trample him, threw him in a pit of poisonous snakes, threw him in the ocean to let him drown, had the guards come at him with their spears and swords. But no matter what method he tried, even a hair on Prahlad's head never got bent out of shape. Nothing could touch him. Nothing could hurt him. So you might think a young boy being attacked by the palace guards, thrown down from a mountain, drowned in the ocean, trampled by elephants, thrown in with poisonous snakes, you might think that young boy would have gotten scared. Who wouldn't become afraid in such a situation? So when you become afraid, then you think, I should ask my beloved God for help. Krishna, you are mine, so come and protect me. Prahlad never did any such thing. Even in the face of certain death, he never asked Krishna to save him. Thus we learn something more from Prahlad's life. We're supposed to be nishkam. We're supposed to be selfless in our devotion to Krishna. In other words, we shouldn't ask him for anything. This is actually easier to adopt than ananyata. Ananyata takes work to get up to that point because it really represents your whole heart. If your heart is not pure and is not attached to Shri Krishna, how will you be ananya? So becoming ananya is a process. But being nishkam is a decision. You just make that decision and it's done. Krishna, I'm never going to ask you for anything. Bas, that's it. This lesson from Prahlad we can immediately incorporate into our life. Reaching higher, more subtle stages of nishkamta, that takes more work. Meaning, in the purest form of nishkamta, you really desire Krishna's happiness, not your happiness. That we'll learn, and we'll develop those feelings by practicing sadhana. But the more elementary form of nishkamta just means making a decision. I'm not going to ask him for anything. Later on, when Nirsingh Bhagwan appears before Prahlad and he says, ask for a boon, Prahlad says, Nasa bhrityah savai barnik. मैं भिखारी हूं क्या? Am I a beggar? No. I belong to you. I am yours. I'm not a beggar. Why would I ask for something? Whatever is yours is already mine. When I'm yours, then what belongs to you is also mine. Why should I ask for something? Everything of yours is automatically mine. I just want to serve you. That's it. I don't have to ask for anything. We need to adopt this same attitude. Krishna, I belong to you already. Why should I ask you for something? A lot of devotees start developing some selflessness, but they have certain blind spots. They still expect God and Guru to help them with material things. They may not ask for material boons like make me a millionaire or help me get my green card or help me get this promotion. They may not ask for those things, but they still expect protection or help in certain situations. I know this because sometimes devotees tell me, oh, I know Maharajji helped me with this situation. I know Krishna protected me from that situation. That's not the right attitude. The right attitude is, Maharajji gave me this situation. This is his prasad. This bad situation I'm in, this is Krishna's grace. Not, will Krishna protect me from this situation? Will Maharajji protect me from this bad thing? No. This so-called bad thing is a gift from God and Guru. That is the correct attitude. Everything, whether it's good or bad, accept it all happily, knowing that it's given by God and Guru, and take it as their prasad, whether it's good or bad. That is nishkamta. Not having this feeling that when something bad happens, I'll be protected. No, accept the bad happily. That is nishkamta. So we have to make that decision that we're not going to ask for anything. Prahlad never thought of asking Krishna to protect him, and yet he was automatically protected because his mind was in Krishna all the time. The name Holi comes from Holika. She was the sister of Hiranyakashipu. She was a demoness, and she, through some tapasya, had received a boon from Brahma that she couldn't be burnt by fire. So when all the other methods of killing Prahlad had failed, his father said, okay, you take him, or she suggested, I can help. I'll take the boy in my lap, you build a big fire, and I'll go and sit in the fire with the boy in my lap, and he'll be burnt. But her boon was not meant to harm others. It was only meant to save her from the fire. Thus, when the fire started, Prahlad did not fear. Can you imagine? Being put in the middle of a big raging fire, He had no fear. His mind was in Krishna. So for him, the fire was cooling. He didn't feel any heat or discomfort from the fire because his mind was just in Krishna. Even though he wasn't asking for protection, it just happened automatically because his mind and Krishna were in total unity. Krishna is omnipresent. It means he's in the fire as well. So for Prahlad, the fire was not the fire was Krishna. But his Buaji, Holika, she got burnt up because she tried to misuse her boon. This is what happened on, actually, tomorrow is the full moon, the day before the day that we play Holi is the full moon. It's Mahaprabhu Jayanti, and we also have the Holika Dahan, the holy fire. So tomorrow evening at 6:30, we'll be lighting the holy fire outside. But since there's so much to talk about this weekend, I want to discuss this event tonight. So on this day, Holika was burned and Prahlad was saved, even though he didn't ask to be saved, but it happened automatically. We as devotees, as sadhaks, shouldn't think of testing this theory like, oh, if my mind is in Krishna, I can't be hurt by anything. It just happens automatically. It's not something you can test. Prahlad's mind was 100% in Krishna every second. If you try something like that, like, okay, let me light this fire and I'll just remember Krishna and I'll jump in the fire and see what happens. Yeah, you know what will happen? When you feel the heat of the fire, you'll forget Krishna. We're not at that level of Prahlad. But the more we keep our mind in Krishna, the more we are unaffected by all the things of this world. Whether it be emotional things or physical things, they don't bother us the more we keep our mind in Krishna. Many times you would have experienced it anyway during your devotion, when you're sitting and you're feeling some discomfort, and perhaps today you are having a better devotional sanskar. So when you're sitting and you try to do Rup Dhyan, your mind actually gets absorbed more easily in that Rup Dhyan and you feel some bhav. And then your pain, your physical pain is gone during that time that you're having that devotional experience. So we know that our mind has that power. The more that we join it with Shri Krishna, the less affected we are by all worldly things. That doesn't mean we're asking to be saved by them. It just happens automatically. Or to be saved from them, I mean. So you know that on this day, India time, or tomorrow for us, that's the day that Holika got burnt. And after that, sometime after that, because since that method failed, Hiranyakashipu kept trying to kill Prahlad. Finally, he said, I am all-powerful. I'm going to do it myself. So he had had enough. He was so fed up that his son kept worshipping Krishna. So they were in the palace, and he challenged Prahlad. Is your Krishna going to save you now? We're in my palace. Would Krishna live in the palace of a demon? How's he going to come and save you? Prahlad said, Father, my Krishna is everywhere. He's even in the palace of a demon? Yes, Father. Okay, is he in this pillar? There's a big stone pillar next to him. Yes, Father, he's everywhere. So Hiranyakashipu took his gada, that big mace, and he slammed it into the pillar with full force. And the pillar exploded, not from the force of him hitting it, but because Nirsingh Bhagwan appeared out of the pillar. Shri Krishna took the form of a half man and a half lion. It's a long story. Hiranyakashipu had also received a boon from Brahma that I shouldn't be. He wanted immortality. Brahma said, I can't give you immortality just like that. Okay, then grant me this boon. I shouldn't be killed in the day or at night. I shouldn't be killed in the air or on the ground. I shouldn't be killed inside or outside. I shouldn't be killed by any beast or any human. I shouldn't be killed by any weapon. He made a whole list of things. So Krishna said, you think you're smart. You think that you checked all the boxes and now you'll be immortal. I'll show you what divine intelligence is. I will honor your boon in totality, but I'll still find a way to kill you. So he became half man, half lion. So he was neither man nor beast. He picked Hiranyakashipu up and put him on his lap. So he was neither on the ground nor in the air. He went in the doorway, so he was neither inside nor outside, just on the edge. And it was dusk. The sun had set, but it was not dark, so it was neither day nor night. And he didn't use any weapon. He used his nails to kill him, his lion's nails. And he killed Hiranyakashipu and saved his devotee Prahlad. Now that the demon had been slain, all the devtas who had had their kingdom taken over by Hiranyakashipu, they all came, Indra and Brahma, and everybody was there. All the devtas came. And they had a little meeting together, and they thought, it's traditional whenever Bhagwan takes avatar and he helps us in some way, then we go and sing his praises, we go and thank him. But who should go first? Because his countenance is so fearsome right now. He's in the form of this lion, and he's just killed this demon, and he looks very angry and scary. So nobody wanted to go in front of him. Brahma didn't want to go, Shivji didn't want to go, Lakshmi didn't want to go, Indra didn't want to go. So Prahlad said, I'll go. 7-year-old Prahlad. He said, there's nothing to be afraid of, he's mine. So he just boldly walked up in front of Narsingh Bhagwan, and the others started following behind him, cowering behind him, Brahma and Shivji and Indra and everybody following behind Prahlad. But Prahlad boldly waltzed up to him, and Narsingh Bhagwan saw him and smiled and picked up his devotee on his big, huge hand and cried tears of joy to see him. Prahlad taught us through this that on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, you don't fear God. You have the feeling he is mine. And finally, he showed us, as I alluded to earlier, that even if God tries to test you by saying, ask for something, then you have to outsmart him. Bhagwan said, ask for something. Prahlad said, ask? I don't want to ask. I'm your servant. I want to serve you for your happiness, not demand things from you. He said, no, you must ask. It's traditional. Whomever I appear in front of, I tell them to ask for a boon. Prahlad said, when someone develops desires in their mind, it spoils everything. They lose all their spiritual power the moment a desire is born in the mind. I don't want to ask for anything. No, you must ask. Okay. So he's not leaving me alone. He's insisting that I must ask for something. So I will ask, since he's insisting. But I will ask for the thing which still keeps me in the category of being nishkam. Kamanam hridya sandroham bhavatastu vrine varam. Bhagavatam. Give me this boon that in my mind, the thought of ever asking you for anything should never come. That's the boon I want. Bhagwan said, you really are an intelligent devotee. You found a way to remain nishkam. So Prahlad showed us in so many different ways the main principles of bhakti. He showed us that you can't wait for some other time to come in the future when it will be convenient for you to do bhakti. You have to start bhakti from this very time, no matter how young you are. He taught us that we should be ananya to Shri Krishna, ekanta bhaktir Govinde, and we should see Krishna everywhere, wherever we go. He also showed us that we should never ask God to protect us. We should accept everything as Shri Krishna's grace, good and bad. And even if God appears in front of you and tells you to ask for something, don't give in. Never ask for anything. Our desire should be to serve Shri Krishna for his happiness. And we shouldn't fear Shri Krishna as God. We should love him as our own. We should feel close to him, so close to him that we would play holy with him. But we'll save that topic for Monday night's lecture. That's an important aspect of Raganuga Bhakti. Feeling so close to Krishna that you wouldn't even hesitate to dump a big bucket of color on his head or smear some powder in his face. Whereas most people would feel that, oh, no, I have to respect Krishna as God. How can I do that? But on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, we ignore his godliness and we just feel that he's mine. So we learn all of these things from Prahlad, and this is the time that one of those things in that whole string of leelas I described, the time that Holika tried to burn Prahlad, but she got burnt, that happened on this day, which actually tomorrow, according to our time. So I'll leave the topic there. And tomorrow morning, I'll discuss further ahead about this Gaur Purnima, the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. And Monday night, I'll speak on the topic of Holi again. There's one mistake in the schedule, my mistake actually, I forgot to change it, that tomorrow night, I won't be giving a lecture. We'll watch Maharajji's video. So I'll speak tomorrow morning and then Monday night. And also keep in mind that tomorrow after dinner at 6:30, we'll be having the chance to have darshan in Sri Maharajji's room, and simultaneously the holy fire will be going on. So you can go and do parikrama of the holy fire and go and have darshan in Sri Maharajji's room on Mahaprabhu Jayanti tomorrow. There's one more special program happening tomorrow in the afternoon. When we resume Kirtan at 3 o'clock, we'll be setting up a big jhula here, because in Mangar, we always got the chance on Mahaprabhu Jayanti to swing Maharajji in the swing. So we'll be putting Maharajji on a big swing here on the stage tomorrow afternoon, and everyone will get the chance to come and push him. So swinging Maharajji tomorrow at 3 p.m. here in the hall, and then after dinner, Holika Dahan fire, and visiting Maharajji's room. And also tomorrow night at 9 p.m. we'll be doing pujan to Sri Maharajji here in the hall, putting chandan on his paduka. And then Monday, of course, we'll be having the flower pujan of Sri Maharajji, just like nowadays that's how we celebrate Holi in Mangar, by showering flower petals on Sri Maharajji's lotus feet. So we have little bit of time left. We'll be doing a Pad Kirtan from Prem Ras Madira. Shree कृपाल की बलि।
श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि।
श्री गुरुदेव श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि।
श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि।
जिनके दिव्य वचन सुनी छूटत।
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 ग्रंथि अविद्या जाल की बलि।
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 श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि।
श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि।
जिनके वरद हस्त के सन्मुख।
जिनके वरद हस्त के सन्मुख।
जिनके वरद हस्त के सन्मुख।
जिनके
कलिकाल की बलि
चलना चाल
कलिकाल
की बलि
चलना चाल कलिकाल की बलि
चलना चाल कलिकाल की बलि
श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि
श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि
जिनके बनत बिगारी सकत नहीं
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 माया शक्ति गोपाल की बलि
माया शक्ति
गोपाल
की बलि
माया शक्ति गोपाल की बलि
माया शक्ति गोपाल की बलि
श्री गुरुदेव श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि
श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि
जिनके युगल चरण पर सत मन
जिनके युगल चरण पर
के युगल चरण पर सत मन
जिनके युगल चरण पर सत मन
पावत रति नंदलाल की बलि
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 श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि
श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि
लखत कृपालु अनुग्रह गुरु के
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 लीला लाडीली लाल की बलि
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 श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि
श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल की बलि
लखत कृपालु अनुग्रह गुरु के Kripalu anugrah Guru ke
लखत कृपालु अनुग्रह गुरु के
लीला लाडीली लाल की बली
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 श्री गुरुदेव कृपाल 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 की बली
श्रीमत युगल सरकार की श्रीमत सद्गुरु सरकार की We'll be continuing with another hour of chanting.